Narrated Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Allah Apostle sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam forbade the offering of two prayers. One, after the morning prayer till the sun rises. Two, after the Asr prayer till the sun sets. Narrated Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, I pray as I saw my companions praying, and I do not forbid praying at any time during the day or night, except at sunset and sunrise. Narrated Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, by Allah who took away the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam never missed them 2 rakat after the Asr prayer till he met Allah, and he did not meet Allah till it became heavy for him to pray while standing. So he used to offer most of the prayer while sitting. He meant the 2 rakat after Asr. He used to pray them in the house and never prayed them in the mosque, lest it might be hard for his follower, and he loved what was easy for them. Narrated Hashim's father, Aisha radiallahu ta'ala addressing me, said, O son of my sister, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam never missed 2 prostration after the Asr prayer in my house. Narrated Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam never missed 2 rakat before the Fajr prayer and after the Asr prayer openly and secretly. Narrated Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to me after the Asr prayer, he always prayed 2 rakat. Narrated Ibn Abu Malih, it was Buraidah on a cloudy day, and he said, offer the Asr prayer earlier, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever leaves the Asr prayer will have all his good deed annulled. Narrated Abdullah bin Abu Qatada radiallahu ta'ala anhu, my father said, one night we were traveling with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and some people said, we wish that Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam would take a rest along with us during the last hour of the night. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I am afraid that you will sleep and miss the Fajr prayer. Bilal radiallahu ta'ala said, I will make you get up. So all slept, and Bilal radiallahu ta'ala rested his back against his rahila, and he too was overwhelmed by sleep and slept. The Prophet ﷺ got up when the edges of the sun has risen and said, O Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, what about your statement? He replied, I have never slept such a sleep. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah captured your soul when He wished and released them when He wished. O Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, get up and pronounce the adhan for the prayer. The Prophet ﷺ performed ablution, and when the sun came up and became brighter, he stood up and prayed. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, on the day of Al-Handaq, the battle of Trench, Umar bin al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu came cursing the disbelievers of Quraysh after the sun had set and said, O Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I could not offer the Asr prayer till the sun had set. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, by Allah, I too have not prayed. So we turned towards Botan, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed ablution, and we too performed ablution and offered the Asr prayer after the sun had set. And then he offered the Maghrib prayer. Narrated Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if anyone forgets prayer, he should pray that prayer when he remembers it. There is no expiation except to pray the same. Then he recited established prayer for my Allah's remembrance. Narrated Jabir radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Umar came cursing the disbeliever of Quraysh on the day of Al-Handaq, the battle of Trench, and said, I could not offer the Asr prayer till the sun had set. Then we went to Bhutan and he offered the Asr prayer after the sunset, and then he offered the Maghrib prayer. Narrated Abu al-Minhal, my father and I went to Abu Barza al-Salami, and my father said to him, tell us how Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to offer the compulsory congregational prayers. He said he used to pray the Dhuhr prayer, which you call the first prayer, as the sun declined at noon. The Asr prayer at a time when one of us could call his family at the farthest place in Medina while the sun was still hot. The narrator forgot what Abu Barza had said about the Maghrib prayer. And the Prophet ﷺ performed to pray the Isha late and disliked to sleep before it or talk after it. And he used to return after finishing the morning prayer at such time when it was possible for one to recognize the person sitting by his side. And he, the Prophet ﷺ, used to recite 60 to 100 ayat, verses of the Quran in it. Narrated Qurra bin Khalid radiallahu ta'ala anhu, once he waited for Al-Hasan and he did not show up till it was about the usual time for him to start his speech. Then he came and apologized, saying, our neighbors invited us. Then he narrated Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, once we waited for Prophet ﷺ till it was midnight or about midnight. He came and led the prayer, and after finishing it, he addresses us and said, all the people prayed and then slept, and you had been in prayer as long as you were waiting for it. Al-Hasan said, the people are regarding as performing good deeds as long as they are waiting for doing good deeds. Al-Hasan's statement is a portion of Anas' hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed one of the Isha prayer in his last night, and after finishing it with taslim, he stood up and said, do you realize the importance of this night? Nobody present on the surface of the earth tonight would be living after the completion of 100 years from this night. The people made a mistake in grasping the meaning of the statement of Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they indulged in those things which are said about the narrators. Some said that the day of resurrection will be established after 100 years. But the Prophet ﷺ said, nobody present on the surface of the earth tonight would be living after completion of 100 years from this night. He meant when the century, people of that century would pass away. Narrated Abu Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Abdul Rahman bin Abi Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, the Sufa companion were poor people, and the people said, whoever has food for 2 persons should take a third one from the Sufa's companion. And whoever has food for 4 persons, he should take 1 or 2 from them. Abu Bakr took 3 men, and the Prophet ﷺ took 10 of them. Abdul Rahman added, my father, my mother, and I were there in the house. The sub-narrator is in doubt whether Abdul Rahman also said, my wife and a servant, who was common for both my house and Abu Bakr's house. Abu Bakr took his supper with the Prophet ﷺ and remained there till the Isha prayer was offered. Abu Bakr went back and stayed with the Prophet ﷺ till the Prophet ﷺ took his meal, and then Abu Bakr returned to his house after a long portion of the night had passed. Abu Bakr's wife said, what disdained you from your guests? He said, have you not served them yet? She said, "They refuse to eat until you come." The food was served for them, but they refused. Abdurrahman added, "I went and hid him, being afraid Abu Bakr, and in the meantime he, Abu Bakr, called me, 'O Gunther,' a harsh word, and also called me bad names and abused me, and then said to his family, 'Eat. No welcome for you.' Then the supper was served. Abu Bakr took an oath that he would not eat that food. The narrator added, "By Allah, whenever any one of us, myself and the guest of Sufa companions, took anything from the food, it increased from underneath. We all ate to our full, and the food was more than it was before its serving." Abu Bakr looked it at the food, and the food it as it was before serving, or even more than that. He addresses his wife, saying, "O the sister of Bani Firas, what is this?" She said, "O the player of my eyes, the food is now 3 times more than it was before." Abu Bakr ate from it and said, "The oath was from Satan," meaning his oath not to eat. Then he again took a morsel, mouthful from it, and then took the rest of it to the Prophet ﷺ, so that the meal was with the Prophet ﷺ. There was a treaty between us and some people, and when the period of that treaty had elapsed, the Prophet ﷺ divided us into 12 groups. The Prophet ﷺ companions, each being headed by a man. Allah knows how many men were under the command of each leader. So all of them, 12 groups of men, ate of that meal.